Hey everyone, and welcome back to BMX News, a weekly BMX news show where I talk about everything that happened in the previous week within the world of BMX that I think you guys might care about. That being said, the first thing we have to talk about this week comes straight from the title and thumbnail of the video, and that is that Big Boy is now officially on Subrosa's flow team. They had this to say: Big Boy's great attitude, awesome personality make him an easy addition to the team. But his riding has jumped up to the next level again. Looking forward to working with Big Boy on a lot more in the future. And it comes with this picture in an Instagram post on Subrosa's Instagram page, as well as a clip where he does a flare to fakie like transfer from one ramp to another. You know how he always lands his flares kind of flat? Well, he took that further and landed fakie in another ramp. It was super awesome. And with that, Big Boy now rides for Subrosa and Shadow. And speaking of Subrosa and Shadow, I think it's like the next day or a couple days later, Mark Burnett posted on Instagram saying that he's no longer riding for Subrosa and Shadow. So that's two huge things of information for Subrosa as well as Shadow now with this news. Kind of interesting. I'm curious to see where Mark Burnett will end up, being that he used to ride for Sunday, then he moved to Subrosa and Shadow. I'm curious to see where he'll end up next. Maybe he'll go back to Sunday. Maybe he'll go to Kink. Kink would make sense, potentially. I'm really not sure. This is an interesting one, and I'm curious what you guys think or where you think he'll end up. Leave it in the comments down below. So keeping things on Instagram here, I saw another post this week from Dave Patterson at We The People showing the internals and inner workings of how the new We The People hybrid hub works. There's a bunch of pictures showing the internals as well as some videos and examples of crank flips and things. He did a really good job in one Instagram post with several different slides. If you're interested in seeing more about the We The People hybrid hub, it is linked in the description down below. And on the note of internals of the We The People hybrid hub, Rich Hirsch posted this picture on his Instagram page with the caption, "You win some, you lose some." And if you look closely at this, it appears to be a free coaster that Stranger was working on with internals that look very, very similar to the We The People hybrid hub. And before we jump to any conclusions, I'm not saying We The People copied Rich Hirsch's design whatsoever. There are a lot of similarities here between the two, with that spring looking thing on the end, as well as what appears to be a rotating disc assembly just made of different materials. If you read the comments on Rich Hirsch's post, it says that it was like 6 or 7 years ago and it didn't work right. It's very interesting to see this because I also saw on a We The People or Dave Patterson post a comment saying that they had been working on this for like 10 years or something like that. So to see that they've been working on it this long and that Rich Hirsch was working on a similar design 6 or 7 years ago but didn't pursue it because it didn't work right is just kind of interesting to me. I'm not saying anyone copied anyone or anyone had inside information and that these guys were racing to get it done or anything like that. No speculation whatsoever. I'm just pointing out the fact that it's interesting that a similar concept was being worked on, and then years and years later, We The People comes out with the hybrid hub at a great price point that appears to work the way that they say that it works. And I'm excited to see the Freecoaster Cassette revolution. I don't mean to use the word revolution, but that's what it is. I feel like all of the big companies in BMX are going to end up with these style of hubs between the Planetary or this We The People design. And I'm sorry, Rich Hirsch, that your design didn't end up working out. Obviously, you didn't pursue it for a reason. So now that we've got most of the clickbait title and thumbnail out of the way, let's move on to talking about something else in BMX that happened that is really, really awesome. That is that Paris Benegas now has her own signature frame from Cult. This is not just a colorway or just some decals or anything watered down like that. It is her own frame from Cult that she worked with her dad to design the decals on, which is really cool. She designed the geometry of the frame and everything, the color, everything about this frame is hers, and that is awesome. So this is what Robbie Morales had to say about this over on Vital BMX, where there's also an interview with Paris. It says, "Really stoked to give Paris Benegas her signature frame as well as a hawk frame colorway for Angie Marino." That's also something we've got to mention. It all happened naturally, and we knew we had to nail the geometry to suit Paris's riding. As a brand, we look for style, passion, and progression, so it was an easy decision to back the women's riding movement. And on that note, this is apparently a first for BMX. No other woman rider has had her own signature frame that is all hers ever before. I'm aware that Nina Buitrago had a colorway and a T1 frame, but I don't believe that that was all her frame. I think it was just the colorway on it. I hope that this translates to the rest of BMX and all of these deserving women riders get bumped up to pro or get their own signature parts or anything like that. And this is coming right off the heels of Sunday bumping Maka Perez to pro on their team. And I just genuinely hope that this spreads further through BMX and we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe half of teams being women pro riders who deserve it and men pro riders, or maybe we'll even see a pro men's team and a pro women's team on different companies. I think that would be really cool to see. The women's freestyle BMX movement is blowing up right now. There's so many shredders out there and I'm excited to see it, and I definitely think that it's going to keep growing. There's no doubt about that. Hannah Roberts is going to the Olympics. She's probably going to win the female class, and hopefully that exposes so many young girls and ladies around the world to jump on BMX bikes and experience BMX. And then there's something I gotta add in here that I almost forgot about that I saw on Instagram yesterday. There's this new thing called Breakless.TV on Instagram. No idea what that is, but there's 2 posts on the Instagram. The first one is the picture that you're seeing here, and it's a post that says King of the Backyard, $5,000 cash jam hosted by Dennis Anderson, Corey Nastasio, and Chad Curley this weekend, featuring Kevin Peraza, Pat Casey, Michael Maga, I'm not sure what his last name is, you'll see it if you watch the video I'm about to talk about, Matt Cordova, and Mike Hucker. I'm assuming that these guys are the guys who are riding in this, and these guys are going to be doing tricks, and through this, when you watch the video that is also posted on this Instagram page, Dennis goes through all of the background about this contest and everything about it, and he says that they're just giving money out for tricks up to $5,000, and when that money is gone, whoever has the most money at the end wins. Really awesome concept here, and I hope that we see more of this moving forward. And I love seeing people like Dennis and Corey and Chad putting in the initiative to do something like this in the first place when there's really not a lot going on in BMX. It's a great opportunity for all of the guys who are going to be there shredding, and I hope that there can be more opened up for more people in the future. But for the way things are right now, this is super awesome to see, and I'm really excited to see more of this from more people in BMX, hopefully moving forward. Moving on from there, we can talk about the videos from this week. First up, we've got The Lot with Matt Ray from Subrosa. It appears that this could be a series coming from Subrosa because Trey Jones had one, now Matt Ray has one, and I don't need to tell you guys how good this video is. Everything Matt Ray does is amazing, and you don't need me reiterating everything that he does in this video to let you know that. I'm just making you aware that a Matt Ray video came out this week for all of you out there who hadn't seen or heard of it and are going to want to see it. From there, we've got a video called Seeking Liberty from Vans with Dakota Roche. This video is full of wall rides, storm doors, and tech riding. He does so many crazy little jib type things using storm doors and wall rides that I can only imagine how difficult they would be. In one setup, he's literally using a storm door, so imagine how wide that is. He ends up faking up it, hopping to a wall ride, and then hopping out of that to fakie on the storm door. Imagine how difficult that would be when you're riding something that is literally just a little bit wider than your bike. Crazy stuff, and that is pretty much what this video is full of. There's Burley, tech, as well as a Chase DeHart cameo in here. After that, we've got a video from Primo called Feel Better Charles with Charles Littlejohn. This dude is an absolute shredder. The video is only 1:44 long, and it ends with him trying to 3 over a rail and ends up nose bonking it and literally just falling straight to his hip and back, and it cuts out right at that. So I'm assuming that means he might be hurt, and I hope that he feels better. After that, we've got BMX Dice with Ethan Courier from USL BMX. This one is entertaining. Ethan Courier is just a character in himself and is a very entertaining person to watch in riding and just when he's on camera with his personality. Then we've got Sean Cash, Trucksylvania. This is his Welcome to Medieval video, the bike company that Montana Ricky rides for. And this one's full of street and skate park riding that is definitely worth checking out if you're into that kind of thing and you want to see someone you may not have heard of. He and Preston Cawthorn actually sent this to me on Instagram, so I wanted to make sure that I talked about it for them, and I definitely thought it was worthy of being talked about. Then we've got Focal Point Into the City episode 4, followed by the Vans The Circle contest behind the scenes. This one's like 17 minutes long, so if you're craving something a little bit longer this week, that's the one to check out. Next up, we can talk about the product related things from this week. First, we've got Riley Smith building up a We the People Capital frame in a video called Fresh Build, where he builds up the frame first, then goes and shreds it in the streets. Then we've got a whole bunch of signature colorways in shoes from Etnies. We've got Tom Dugan's, Nathan Williams, and Devon Smillie's signature colorways in all of the respective shoes that they are on from Etnies, followed by something that I'm not sure if it came out this week or last week or 2 weeks ago, or I don't remember at this point, but Dakota Roche has his own signature Vans slip-on that actually uses the BMX sole on the slip-on. So now, if your feet were hurting and you were riding slip-on shoes, maybe it'll be a little bit better, but you're still wearing a slip-on. That's my opinion. I'm going to leave that out. If you like the Vans slip-on shoes, check it out because now they have a more durable and rugged, I guess you could say, sole on them. Then we've got some interview stuff from this week. We've got an Unclicked podcast, this time with Corey Martinez, and they get real quick in this one and talk about real life things, and there's no holding back from Corey in here. He seems to be talking about anything and just an open book in here, and I invite anyone else to have these type of conversations in BMX because this is real stuff from real riders. It's not, well, I started riding whenever I was a baby and I picked up the bike and my favorite trick is the tuck no hand. No, none of that superficial, artificial, surface level stuff. That's all great, and it's good to have that from people we've never heard of before, but everyone knows who Corey Martinez is, and to really get to know this dude in this podcast was so awesome to see, and I really hope that more pros that we really know as riders and everything about them as riders do more things like this. And I know this isn't the kind of thing that you can like fake or force to happen. It kind of just happens when you're talking to the right people at the right place at the right time. So I'm just hoping that more of this ends up happening by chance or by fate, because obviously this isn't the kind of thing you want to force because it can be awkward and turn people off. I just genuinely am excited to see more stuff like this when it pops up in BMX. Then we've got a written bike check with Brandon Lupos over on Vital BMX with a list of all of the parts on his bike, followed by a few questions about it, starting with, you just switched from one lunatic frame to another. How'd the last one hold up for you? Any specific reason for the new build, or did you just want to freshen things up? How important is the weight of your bike? What all is different from your last build? Are there any parts that you absolutely refuse to change? And what is the oldest part on your bike, or is everything brand new? Then there's a few more questions down there, but if you're interested in checking that one out, it is linked in the description down below. And then after that, we've got a video with Vital BMX's Kyle Carlson and Ryan Mills called Everything About 180 Hand Plant Drops. Everything from the backstory on how he invented the trick, and I think there's also some how-to in there as well. I haven't had a chance to check this one out yet, but it's definitely a trick that like either no one else or almost no one else is doing. So I think that that might be of interest to some of you. With that being said, if you guys have any thoughts on anything that I talked about today, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know if there's a difference in the video lighting as well, because I added a second light over here. And on that note, if you guys are new here or you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button while you're down there leaving a comment. And hopefully that means we'll see you tomorrow for another video. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.